Hello and welcome back to the Captain's Quarters. Last week was an exciting one here, as our beloved/reviled sea captain was joined by a new character, Ira, the Prospect Park duck. We posted a Twitter poll asking if you wanted more duck or less duck, and more duck won in a landslide. Now, if you're wondering what would have happened this time, had other won, you would have been treated to a friendship between the sea captain and a street artist's drawing of my wife from when she was a kid.
Hello, little girl.
Wait, what is this?
A bit that's gone on too long.
But the duck won, so expect to hear a good deal more from him. Hey, how was your weekend?
Not great. A lady in the park yelled at me for not wearing a mask, and I was like, excuse me, have you ever tried getting one of those over a bill? Look, it's a stressful time, but let's try to be nice, okay?
Well, that's good advice.
Not to mention, I went to dinner the other night, and get this, during the entree, I said, does anyone know if these pellets are gluten-free? And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I happen to have a very delicate system, okay? Quack.
This guy is brutal.
And speaking of brutal, double team segue. The president announced a bunch of meaningless and blatantly unconstitutional executive orders and a PR stunt at his golf course. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. This weekend really distilled just how desperate President Trump is as he continues to trail Joe Biden in the polls. He announced a bunch of empty executive orders at his golf course instead of negotiate with Congress. He said he would permanently cut the payroll taxes that fund Social Security and Medicare if reelected. There was a Friday night massacre at the post office as part of Trump's ongoing attempts to sabotage mail-in voting. And we found out that his White House asked the governor of South Dakota, what's the process to add additional presidents to Mount Rushmore? You guys know Mount Rushmore, the thing you saw when you were 7 and then only in rental car commercials. And there is no process because it's not a thing. It's a national monument. It's not the wing wall down at the Wooden Nickel. The process is you gotta eat 100 hot wings in 10 minutes and you gotta bring your own picture. We're not a picture company here at the Wooden Nickel. That's like going up to a priest after Mass and asking him, so what's the process for adding someone to the Trinity? What if it was like the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and the Dan? Actually, that does sound like a pretty decent idea for an early 2000s screwball comedy starring Owen Wilson. I mean, how can I lead my flock when I can't even get my own apartment? It's weird. And even if there was a process to get on Mount Rushmore, I'm pretty sure presiding over the preventable deaths of 160,000 Americans and the worst economic crash since the Great Depression would be disqualifying. That's like asking your boss at Chipotle when you're getting your Employee of the Month plaque after you get caught stirring the guacamole with your skateboard. You're never getting it, Brad. You're never going to get your name on a plaque. Besides, I'm pretty sure the other presidents would be weirded out having Trump next to them. They'd all scooch over to one side of the mountain like passengers on the F train after a dude takes a dump. Let's get off at the next stop. It's only 38 more blocks to the park. The only upside of putting Trump on Mount Rushmore would be picking the photo to use so we could all remember him accurately. Would it be this photo of Trump coming back from his Tulsa rally looking like he just got fired from his job as a door-to-door vacuum salesman? Or maybe one of these photos where he's screaming like a rabid possum? Or how about that one from the GOP debate where he looks like he's farting and getting kicked in the at the same time? Did he fart because he got kicked in the or did he get kicked in the because he farted? Trump wants to get on Mount Rushmore, but first he has to get past Joe Biden, who he's trailing badly in the polls. And you can tell Trump is desperate. Last week, for example, he once again pretended he was doing a bunch of official events, but as always, turned them into campaign speeches. And at one point, Trump, the twice divorced serial adulterer who doesn't go to church, thought 2 Corinthians was called 2 Corinthians, and who probably uses a Bible to hide his playboys, still said this about devout Catholic Joe Biden.
He's going to do things that nobody ever would ever think even possible because he's following the radical left agenda. Take away your guns, destroy your Second Amendment, no religion, no anything, hurt the Bible, hurt God. He's against God, he's against guns, he's against energy, our kind of energy.
My God, why does he always talk like an injured superhero in a comic book? Losing consciousness. Must stop, Luther. He's against God. Trying to make Trump's syntax make sense is like trying to solve an ancient Sumerian riddle. If man can hurt God, then is he not more powerful than God? And if man is more powerful than God, then would that not mean that God is man and man is God? Sounds like a dude who downed one too many tequila shots singing John Lennon's Imagine at karaoke. No religion, no anything. Heard the Bible, heard God. I know that was auto-tune, but I wanted to make sure we didn't have to pay publishing. Also, Biden's against energy? What are you talking about? The dude was literally out in the sun biking over the weekend. Biden's like one of those grandpas you worry about because they're always doing too much. Grandpa, it's 6 a.m. Where are you going with an axe? You can never have too much firewood, kiddo. You, on the other hand, have all the energy of a beanbag chair low on beans. So Trump's obviously very desperate. On top of being historically unpopular, he also had no accomplishment to tout, aside from shoveling $2 trillion worth of tax cuts into the pockets of big corporations and the wealthy, claiming it would boost the economy. And I just want to say, mission accomplished, bud. Those crappy little bonuses companies handed out in 2017 as PR for the corporate tax cut really came in handy when 50 million people lost their jobs and everyone was racing to buy toilet paper. Good news, honey. We can afford an extra pack of Charmin thanks to that one-time check we got 3 years ago. If you need me, I'll be in line at the food bank for the next 6 hours. Even before the pandemic and economic crash, Trump had accomplished very little. So instead, he decided to start taking credit for his predecessor's accomplishments. For example, Trump has falsely claimed more than 150 times that he signed the Veterans Choice Program into law, even though it was Barack Obama who signed it in 2014. Again, he has repeated this lie, according to CNN, more than 150 times, which is just a level of dedication to lying that I can't even comprehend. He's the Lance Armstrong of lying, which is saying a lot since Lance Armstrong is also the Lance Armstrong of lying. And in this election, Joe Biden is the Lance Armstrong of biking, but only because the only other choice is Donald Trump, who is the Lance Armstrong of not taking steroids. And when Trump was asked about this lie at his fake news conference at his New Jersey golf club over the weekend with a bunch of his wealthy patrons cheering him on, in the background, he got all pissy and walked away.
Trying to set a new precedent that the president can go around Congress and decide how
You ever hear the word obstruction? They've obstructed. Congress has obstructed. The Democrats have obstructed people from getting desperately needed money. Go ahead, please, right here. No, you're finished. Go ahead, please. Please. Go ahead.
Veterans' choice. It was passed in
Okay, excuse me. Go ahead, please.
It's a false statement, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much.
Just stormed off. Such a petulant little man toddler. It's like the kid who loses at Halo and chucks his controller across the room. You gave me the broken one. I'm telling Mom. Also, nothing says man of the people like doing a press conference at your $350,000 a year private golf club. Every American who loses their job will get a free sleeve of Titleist golf balls. They're repackaged from ones we found in the lake. Trump is so desperate for affection, he's bringing his own cheering section to the press conferences now. It's like watching a reboot of Married with Children. At the debates with Biden, he's going to pipe in his own studio audience. So Trump has spent virtually his entire term desperately trying to erase Obama's accomplishment or take credit for them, like when Republicans tried to repeal Obamacare, including its protections for pre-existing conditions. They even filed a brief with the Supreme Court in June, arguing that Obamacare must fall, which would wipe out protections for people with pre-existing conditions in the middle of a pandemic. And yet, as all that was happening, Trump has repeatedly and brazenly lied about his position on healthcare, saying, I was the person who saved pre-existing conditions in your healthcare, and I will always protect people with pre-existing conditions. Always, always, always. Yikes, that is a truly psychotic use of all caps. That is an ex-husband in a Lifetime movie level of punctuation. Normally, when you get a note like that, you realize the person who wrote it is standing right behind you. So Trump has spent months lying about his position on healthcare, and on Friday, his psychosis spun so far out of control, he actually tried to trick people into thinking he was issuing an executive order protecting pre-existing conditions, which is a thing that's already law thanks to Obamacare, the law he's currently in court trying to overturn.
Over the next 2 weeks, I'll be pursuing a major executive order requiring health insurance companies to cover all pre-existing conditions for all customers. That's a big thing. I've always been very strongly in favor. We have to cover pre-existing conditions. So we will be pursuing a major executive order requiring health insurance companies to cover all pre-existing conditions for all of its customers.
Oh yeah, what's next? Are You going to issue an executive order requiring New Hampshire and Vermont to touch at all times? You two have to learn to share a border. This psycho genuinely thinks he could just get up in front of the cameras and repeat things Obama already did, and people are going to believe him. Next, he's going to announce he's picking Joe Biden as his running mate. It's weird he's attacking me. We're on the same ticket. Dude, no one's going to mistake you for Barack Obama. All we have to do is look at the two of you with your shirts unbuttoned. Obama looks like he's in an episode of Ballers. Trump looks like a business ham. And then on Saturday, Trump signed a bunch of meaningless and unconstitutional executive orders rather than negotiate with Congress, while tens of millions of Americans face eviction and go without much needed unemployment benefits. Take, for example, Trump's claim that he's supposedly extending the enhanced unemployment benefits. First of all, he's cutting them from $600 to $400. Second, he's forcing cash-strapped states to pay 25% of that amount. And if they can't, then their residents don't get the money. And third, even his own economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, didn't seem to know how any of this will work at all.
So when will people see their first checks?
I don't want to be specific because you might hold me to it, as you should, but I think it's going to be in a couple of weeks, and I think it's going to come to about $1,200 per person. That's a huge
You keep
wage
saying $1,200 per person. Are you talking about in addition to the unemployment that they're already getting?
Oh, no.
Where does that number
that's
come
the
from?
Payroll. I beg your pardon. The $1,200 will come from the payroll tax. It should be $800. I beg your pardon. It should be $800 for the unemployment.
800 or 400?
No, it should be $800. If the states step up, we're prepared to match. That should come out $400 federal, $400 states.
Okay, we'll move on because I think that's not what the president said, and it's a bit confusing.
Man, even Dana Bash gave up. That was like watching her sort through the menu at a restaurant with her grandfather. You want the chicken? No, I want the polo. Polo means chicken. I thought it meant fish. Pesci is fish. The actor? Just bring him some french fries, please. How can he not know what his own policy does? He sounds like the substitute math teacher who spilled coffee on his lesson plan. Okay, everybody, the answer is 1,200. Nope, wait, I'm sorry, it's 8. Nope, I think it's 500. It's 5,000. Mr. Kudlow, I think it's 400. Shut up, you little snot-nosed punk. It's 800. Now run to the teacher's line and get me another beer. You're not allowed to drink beer, Mr. Kudlow. Well, don't you just sound like the superintendent who fired me from my last job. And then there's the executive order that supposedly extends the federal eviction moratorium, which it obviously does not do. That's a lie. All you have to do is read it, which apparently Kudlow has not done.
A second key point was the eviction moratorium. Because the Democrats rejected various compromises, at least twice, to my knowledge, the president felt he had to take action.
In fact, the president doesn't extend the federal eviction moratorium. I looked at the executive order. It doesn't do that. It simply directs HUD to find a way to help people and identify federal funds. It doesn't include extending the eviction moratorium.
Well, look, that's not entirely true. I mean, in there...
Well, it is true.
Come on, George. That's not fair. If I haven't read it, you can't either. It's fun to imagine Kudlow's aides shuttling him from interview to interview, watching him make a fool of himself, and then hoping the next one goes better. All right, boss, we have only one more interview left today. Where is it? Please say Fox News. Please, Fox News. It's Axios. Oh, damn it. Yeah, you better give me some of those loose papers that are fun to carry around and hard to read. And then there's Trump's fake payroll tax cut. In reality, all he did was defer payroll taxes until the end of the year, which means a lot of businesses just save up the money to pay those taxes when they're due, rather than pass the savings on to workers. Trump said if he was reelected, he would make the cut permanent, which is even worse because payroll taxes fund Social Security and Medicare. So if you cut payroll taxes without a replacement, you're cutting Social Security. And when he was asked about that last night, as usual, he just lied.
What we're doing is we reimburse through the general fund, not through Social Security. This will have no impact on Social Security. We're going to, through the general fund, reimburse. This will have zero impact on Social Security.
That's not how it works. For one thing, only Congress can appropriate money. For another, this isn't one of your businesses. You can't just move money around to cover your losses. I got it. We're just going to move money from the tax fund to the casino fund to the hotel fund to the slush fund to the porn star fund. Boom, done. But how do we pay our taxes? Oh, that's easy. We don't. You guys should really You should really try tapping my head. It's like silly putty. Americans can see through this. It's Trump's usual shtick. He's desperate and unpopular, which is why he's signing empty executive orders and sabotaging the post office. He has no accomplishments, no policies.
Know anything?
This has been a closer look, and this was the most stressful one I've done all summer because my parents were sitting on a couch watching. We've been talking about City Harvest since COVID began, and now more than ever, they need your help feeding New York families. If you're watching this online, you can hit the donate button. Stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask. We love you.